when he took his shirt off in the hospital. Like, can we just, I mean, he is the second male lead. He is not even the first male lead. And even the first male lead was like, you are shaming me, my man. You need to cover that up because I cannot compete with that. Hi, everyone. We are back with our second installment of our While You Were Sleeping rewatch. We're going to cover episodes 5 through 8 in this one. That gets us to the halfway turn. If you've listened to our first one, this is my first watch. So this is not a rewatch for me. So you get to kind of experience this show brand new with me. Whether that's good or bad is a whole nother story. And then we have Michaela from the K-Pop cast, who is a rewatch, and Caitlin from No Sleep for Dramas, also on a rewatch. Let's say hi to them real quick, and then we will dive right in. Michaela, where can we find you real quick?
Yes, so I'm Michaela from the K-Pop cast, your K-Pop podcast bringing you the best sounds and ideas in K-Pop. And again, I'm just going to say this is a great nostalgic watch for me. I'm ready to get back into this show.
And Caitlin?
You can find me at No Sleep for Dramas and TikTok, Instagram, sometimes Twitter. I also have a blog under the same name. And yeah, I keep forgetting so many cameos that show up in the show. Until they pop up, and then I'm like, oh, right. Yeah.
Right. Hello. Before we dive in, let's just take a quick look at what we're watching. Okay, so you guys probably all know this. If you're watching this on the video, you'll be able to see this. If you're not, you're going to have to, if you're listening to the podcast, you're just going to listen to us walk through it. So we have While You Were Sleeping. It's a 2017 drama. It stars, we have BAE SUZY. We have Jung Seok. We have Jung HAE IN and Sang-yeop, which are our big three mains, right? So right now, as we get to these episodes, we are learning more about our trio, and we are diving more into the romance of our two leads, BAE SUZY and Jung Seok. So those are kind of the big tent poles of us diving into these next episodes. So it's a rewatch for both Michaela and Caitlin. So I'm going to ask you guys this time. Michaela, you just said that this was a great nostalgic trip down memory lane for you. What about these 4 episodes was so enjoyable for you?
Jenn, these are the 4 episodes where I am taken back to the time I fell in love with actor Kang Ki-young, who plays the serial killer in these 4 episodes.
Yes.
True.
I will give you that 110%.
And I go back to like, what was it about me at that time where like once an actor plays a villain or any kind of like serial killer role, I then automatically become attached to them and like want to watch everything they've been in. So then, and so I was like, I got all of those feelings again watching Kang Ki-young play this role, who again at this time is a very kind of, you've seen him in other things, character actor, but today we know him for much more like leading roles. Though I don't think he's actually led a drama before, but I feel like he should at this point with everything that he's accomplished.
He wasn't a lead, like a romantic lead, but did you guys watch Uncanny Counter 2?
Yes, yeah,
Nice.
He was the main bad guy in that one.
He was magnificent in his evil in that. That is, I mean, I've always really enjoyed him. I think he's a brilliant comedic actor. I have always loved him in those roles, but him playing like an evil demon for 12 episodes was probably my favorite thing about that season 2, for sure. So seeing him here is like, this was his origin, his villain origin story. I was very excited.
It was like the beginning of him starting to play these more dramatic, more serious characters versus the comedic relief that he was mostly known for.
I love comedic relief.
Right.
This was magical, except he did kill 100 cats. So I really did hate him by the time it was over.
Yeah, trash character, great performance.
Exactly. Perfect. Trash character, great performance. 110%. Okay, so this is what reminded you of it. These 4, at least the first 2 episodes, because I think 5 and 6 were his case, and then 7 and 8 were we kind of moved into a different case at that.
Yeah,
the Roomba of Death. Except the Roomba didn't really do it, but it made me giggle. And what about you, Caitlin?
Yeah, same thing. Like I completely forgotten like the crimes and everything that happened. So then when they showed up again and he showed up again, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that part. But yeah, it was very fun seeing him play a villain because I thought he always did a very good job playing a villain.
He's so good at it. Like, oh my God, he was so good in Uncanny Counter 2. Oh my goodness.
So if I can add on to that, with this character specifically, because at this point it reminded me of his character in Weightlifting Fairy.
Yeah, you know what? I thought that's where we were headed, and then no.
Yeah, which again, that character is like the older brother character. He's really cool. He's also like runs a chicken shop, but in this case, it's like the alternate universe evil version of that character, which is so cool.
I was like, oh, he's feeding the cats. And then I was like, oh, God, you're the worst. You are trash.
Right.
This was a lovely nostalgic trip down memory lane for Michaela with Kang Ki-young because he's amazing and we love him. Were there any other things that really just called out to you that was like, you're like, this is a great rewatch, you guys? What was it in these 4 episodes? We had the Kang Ki-young episodes. We had, what else did we have? Then we had our 2 guys that we had our roommate, our Jung Hae In Batman character, who his roommate shows up after being accused of killing someone. What did you guys think of that case?
So even though you call it the Roomba of Death, I actually I remember watching that for the first time and I was very confused by the markings the Roomba had made. And I'm like, what the hell could that be? Because obviously it was not man-made. But if it was, that is not like a ritualistic symbol that they obviously thought or whatever. So the first watch, I was like, oh, it was a Roomba. That's brilliant. And then obviously it fell out the window or whatever. But to have a Roomba do that symbol and throw people off was, in my opinion, during the first watch, was actually a nice twist. But because you wouldn't at the time, I think in 2017, I had never even heard of a Roomba, I don't think. It was very foreign to me. It was very foreign to me.
It was such a new piece of PPL, you had no idea.
Exactly. So it was oh, that's what it is. But now, because obviously I own one now and they're everywhere, I kind of laughed at that because I was like, okay, yeah. The other thing I enjoyed about these episodes was the little bits of information we get about the ending case, which I won't reveal anymore. But the fact that I can pick up on some of those clues now, I'm like, oh, I didn't realize this was in episode 5. Oh, okay. So that's been kind of fun because obviously due to a rewatch, I know what's gonna happen and whatever. But again, because I have not watched this since 2017, I know the overall case that is gonna end up at the episode 15, 16,
well,
14,
I'm gonna
15,
guess
16, but
because I pay attention. It is her dead in the field in the blue jacket with the green umbrella that is being carried by turd lawyer Lee Sung-yup, right?
Yes. Okay. But I wouldn't say
look at Michaela umbrella. Being
like,
you guys can't see it unless you're on YouTube. Michaela's looking like,
yeah, I mean, I would say yes, it's that case, but it's funny how that case reveals itself in the end of the episodes. Because, yeah, that's all I'm going to say. So it's been kind of neat, realizing how far back they started revealing some things about, which I had forgotten before.
Because that's what we really get into, especially in these next 4 episodes, is getting back into their shared childhood trauma and things coming more full circle. Even some of our little side characters and parts of the episodes coming back and having bigger roles by the end of it. Like our little barista lady who is the go-between between them trying to meet up with each other. She ends up being the sister of our serial killer. Yeah, and then we start to see more of the prosecution office people, all these, smaller bit roles that were introduced to us in the first 4 episodes. We're really starting to see more of and see as become major characters now in the show.
Right. And their influence on the main story as a whole.
What I did realize and made me very, very happy was that our prosecutor, Shin, where is she? Go Sung-hee, who is the prosecutor Shin, she was in Gauss Electronics, and I loved her in that. that is just such a fun little drama that is funny and romantic, and it was a delight. And I'm so glad I watched that. And she has kind of the same kind of edge, and I'm like, why do I love her so much? And then it dawned on me, and I think episode 6, I was like, it's her. And I was very happy. I was very excited. I'm hoping her and the other prosecutor get together, since he wants to be set up on a blind date, and he's looking for love, and she needs some comfort. And he made sure she had quiet time. That was lovely. I think there are very lovely moments in this drama. I don't dislike the moments in this drama. I think my biggest quibble of this drama is that I don't buy this romance at all. Full stop.
Really? Okay.
This is the reason why I had second lead Syndra in this drama, because I also do not buy this romance, even on the rewatch.
It just like, I get that she dreams about him, and so then she thinks they're fated, but there's nothing about these two, whether it's the actors themselves or the way it's written, that I believe that this for me, and I'm getting that a lot of people really loved it. But for me, it's just not gelling. I think he has better chemistry with Jung Hae In as a bromance.
Yep.
And I want that to happen. Like, I'm like, this is the show I want to watch, is these three fighting crime through their multiple dreams, because each one gets a different perspective. Like, that's the drama. Every time it goes to that, I'm like, this is the drama I want to watch. And then it goes back to like, and I know, Caitlin, you mentioned last week that you love the OST, but the OST is relentlessly beating me over the head with how much these two love each other. And I'm just like, could you show it instead of singing it? Like, what is happening right now? Like, I feel like and again, I think this goes back to, I think this is a lot of why earlier dramas don't really work for me. Cause I feel like this was a style of writing that they did a lot, where it was like, we're just supposed to assume you're the male lead and you're the female lead, and therefore you are in love in episode 1. And you're just like, but nothing's happened. They just met. I don't get it. And so that is probably my that's the biggest challenge for me getting through most of these episodes. I'm really sorry, Michaela, but I fast forward through 90% of their romantic moments.
Here we go again, Jen. Just like where we are literally the opposite ends of the spectrum on watching these episodes. Because going back to what you mentioned again, Caitlin, about like, again, loving the OST. I'll be honest, when I first watched the first few episodes, I wasn't really here for it. But then again, I clicked into the romance, because again, I'm watching this knowing that Jung Hae In doesn't have a chance. I was really just locked in. So like anytime like their OST theme came on and they start looking at each other, and it's like that choppy slow motion where they force the slow motion because it's not shot the right frame rate. Like I was here for every moment. I was like,
listen, and obviously, many people felt the same way you did, Michaela. Like every time a best of list comes up, this show is on it. And I am like, I wouldn't even put this in my top 50. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, it's decent. It's solid. I guess for me, it's a solid drama, but it's, I would probably still drop it.
And then on the topic of the bromance, though, you do see in these next few episodes, Jung Hae In, like in their little squad, start to push them together. Mm-hmm. And there are moments where you see Jung Seok, like, pulling Suzy towards him. And he kind of has like these sort of negative reactions, like he's almost feeling like he's missing out on something with Suzy. But then again, that could be something that's underneath everything based off of like what we know about his character.
Okay. Yeah.
What I love about this, and what Michaela has mentioned too, is like there's no love triangle in this drama.
Right. I do appreciate that.
And you really, like, as she mentioned, in the next 4 episodes, there's like literally a scene where Jung Hae In is like, nope, I'm stepping back. Like, I'm not involved. Like, I don't, there is somebody I like, but I'm not going to say it here because she's sitting next to me, but they are together. So I'm pushing away. So I do appreciate that part of this drama, is like, there's no love triangle, and they're never,
right.
And he kind of just steps back and whatever.
He just hugs her American style.
Yeah, pretty much.
that was my favorite moment. I was like, hugging American style. I feel like that needs to be like a variety show.
And now for some quick K3 K-drama coffee break business.
That's right. We love sharing our K-drama thoughts with you, our community of K-drama lovers. And we have a few ways that you can support us. You can buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/the-K3. And by becoming a member, you will get a calendar with weekly updates and also Jen's blog filled with her K-drama thoughts. You can also find us on YouTube. If you go into our archive, we have years of K-dramas to recommend for you. And talk to us there as well on our community tab. We also have a discount for a VPN service. So if you are dying to get your K-dramas that are airing only on Disney Plus in Asia, you can use our VPN. It keeps your devices safe. Just look for the code in the description below.
But yeah, I mean, I'm with Jen on this one. I am not a fan of the romance in this drama. Like, I didn't like it on the first watch, and I still don't like it now. Like, I had serious SLS with this drama, and the only drama that gave me SLS at this point was this drama.
I mean, I'm not even sure I have full-blown second lead syndrome, which is SLS, in case anybody is listening and doesn't know what that acronym means. But I'm not really sure I want the Jung Hae In character to be with Suzy either. But I'm also like, when Jung Hae In is on screen, I am riveted. Like, he's such a good actor. Like, the moment that he takes the phone call and she's like, oh my God, he's coming to your apartment, blah, blah. He's like, no, I'm a cop, it's all good. And then he hangs up and he's like, why are you here? I was like, oh my God, that's why Jung Hae In is Jung Hae In. Like, he's just so good.
Yeah.
Like, he just took that moment and just, like, as an actor, like, he just knows his roles and he knows what those beats are. And he's just so good. And I mean, especially coming off of DP, I mean, I'm still angry he didn't win the Baeksang for that one. I can't believe everybody in his cast and his director, and I think his writer won a Baeksang and he did not. Like, what? Can you notice? I rage, I think, every time that I think my favorite actors got their Baeksang stolen.
Wait, you were saying with the chemistry between Jung Hae In and Jung Suk. I also, now that you pointed out, I'm not really sure I also want romance with Jung Hae In either, but I like the fact that he has chemistry with Suzy and chemistry with Jung Suk. I just liked him better with Suzy anyway. Like, I just liked his chemistry with Suzy more. Which in my mind, at least in 2017, was like, okay, I like this romance more. Is it more of like they just have better chemistry, in my opinion? Maybe. But I do agree. I think he has chemistry with both of them more than they do each other, in my opinion.
I love though that the mom is like keeping score. Like, she's got like prosecutor 7, cop 1, just because he saved her life.
Right. She is adorable. Like, I think that I love all the side characters.
Yeah.
Like, listen, if you guys are paying any attention to me on Twitter and the newsletter, I'm obsessed with Moon in the Day right now. And Pyo Jin showed up and I'm like, oh my God, I want to rewatch that.
She looks so young.
She looks so young. Right?
I forgot she was in this. And honestly, I had to do a double take when she showed up. I'm like, wait, is that Pyo Jin? Oh, yeah, it is.
Playing a young Ricky Cop lady, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Who clearly has a thing for Jung Hae In.
Yeah, of course.
Clearly.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of Jung Hae In, can we just talk for a hot second? And I think, Michaela, you'll appreciate this hot second the most. When he took his shirt off in the hospital, I mean, what? Like, can we just, I mean, he is the second male lead. He is not even the first male lead. And even the first male lead was like, you are shaming me, my man. You need to cover that shit up because I cannot compete with that. And I thought that was hilarious. And I was like, oh, hello.
Yeah, no, to that point, I have to correct something from the permanent record because I think I mentioned in the first episode that I had watched this back in 2017. I realized rewatching that scene that I didn't. I actually watched it in 2018 because I saw the clip of this scene and I was like, oh, I think I'm going to enjoy the plot of this show. Like, I think the plot of the show looks really good.
I love this plot. This plot is magical.
And this is like young Jung Hae In too. So he's just like super like lean and like tiny, like the itty bitty waist. It was crazy.
Yeah. I just was not prepared for the, like, it was an 8-pack that came busting out when he took. I was like,
we're all Suzy in that scene, really.
Every single one of them. I was like, yes, this is the most connected I felt to Suzy in the whole show. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So what else did we really like about this, you guys? So I will say that I am enjoying the fact that we finally have some sort of backstory for Utak, which is the Jung Hae In character. I'm excited to see what this plays out because he's connected to them, right? So I feel like we're starting to maybe slowly, there are secrets, and his buddy who didn't kill the girl, said, I will reveal all your secrets. And Jung Hae In seemed to have had a resignation letter in his back pocket ready to go at any moment. And so, so clearly he knows that there's some comeuppance that's about to happen. And I'm curious. I mean, listen, I can't ask what your theories are because you know the answers. But if you remember what your theories were when you watched it on the first time, what were some of your thoughts at this point, what you thought Jung Hae In's deep secrets were?
All I remember thinking is, God, I hope he's not a bad guy.
Oh,
That's all I remember thinking because I love the trio of them together. So I was like, God, I hope he's not a bad guy and like betrays all of them. And
Right?
it's just like, granted, I would love to see that character and him acted out now. But like at the time, I was very much into their Scooby-Doo gang. So I like needed him to be a good guy.
I was the same, Caitlin. I do remember finding it so sus that he was like lying to her because he has that thing where he was like, oh, I'm a beloved son, like my parents love me, whatever, and then they go to his apartment and his fridge is empty, and I'm like, no Korean mother who loves you is gonna let you have an empty fridge.
So my theory is, because I can say what my theory is because I do not know the ending. My guess, because of all of how K-dramas work, especially in 2017, I'm gonna guess that he is the youngest brother of the cop who is the older brother of the guy who basically killed both parents.
Okay.
That's my theory, is that he's somehow connected with that.
Okay.
And he's probably, I also thought maybe he was the one who was sending money, unbeknownst to himself, that he's sending it to Lee Jung Suk's character. Mm-hmm. He was just sending it to a name or a place. I really enjoyed, like I said, I enjoy these, as Caitlin called them, the Scooby Gang, especially since each of them dreams about different things. I thought it was interesting when Jung Hae In's character was like, so Suzy just dreams. She has these visions. You dream about her, and then I dream about you. And so I thought it was really interesting that he's like, where did this all come from? Because clearly, Jung Hae In's character has died like twice now, at least in the 8 episodes we've watched. Right? So there's so many multiple universes where he's already dead. So there's that. And then Suzy seems to be the point person for all of this because she's been having these dreams since she was young. And then it seems like Lee Jung Suk's character didn't start having them until randomly, but I'm guessing it's probably going to be longer. We're going to find out. Maybe, possibly, who knows? But it seems like he just randomly had this dream about her and then saved her. So I feel like there's something happening there. And then he said, oh, maybe that's what it is. Because she saved him drowning, right? And so that's the connection there. Because I think Jung Hae In's character even asked him, he's like, so did you ever get saved by a girl? He's like, no, I got saved by a little boy back in the day.
Oh, right.
And he's like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I'm sure. Little chestnut, little nugget. And I'm like, come on, you can't be that stupid. Like, come on, everybody knows this is a girl. I love how they're like, it's his son. And everyone's like, no, it's his daughter. And nobody's paying attention. This poor thing.
Mm-hmm. And then Suzy's like, this one time I got hit by this little boy. And he's like, what little boy hits a girl?
Anyway, so she saved him. So that's why he dreams about her. And now Jung Hae In dreams about Lee Jung Suk because he saved him. So I'm fascinated by that. My other wild theory is that Lee Sang-yup somehow in all of this also has dreams.
Oh, okay. That's a good theory. Okay.
And he uses them for evil.
Right, because he's still very evil. I almost thought, even though I know how this show goes, I almost thought he was gonna have like a redemption in the rewatch, because you see him, especially when he's talking to Suzy, like, I'm on Lee Jung Suk's side on this one. I'm trying to help you guys, and like his reaction to dealing with an actual murderer and how he felt disgusted that he was helping him. Like, it almost feels like they're gonna maybe give him a redemption, but no, he just, like, the second he gets in, she just goes back to being our bad guy.
He's just, again, and I use this all the time, he's just such a turd.
And he gets worse, too.
No, he gets worse?
He gets worse, too.
God. He's so awful.
Oh, he played a villain so good though. That's like this is one of my favorite roles of his, just because he's so bad. It's so good.
He's so good at being bad. There's a certain flavor to his voice that just makes she's just like, I'm evil. You're like, yes, you are. All right, so let's see. So we got through episode 5. We're at the halfway point. And our halfway point is that Suzy's greatest dream, where she is getting the ring, the promise ring from Jung Seok, turns into her greatest nightmare, where he is stabbed and dying, I'm guessing. So
True.
how do you guys feel about that?
We can't have nice things in this show. That again, it reminded me of the trauma of watching it the first time. Because again, if you're locked into this couple, especially like if you've made it past episode 1, you've gone through so many deaths and almost deaths, and like every character has died at this point. And then you get to this, but to the ending where they're starting to get this groove in their relationship, and they're like starting to get closer with each other. And then we get this other vision that just like throws everything out the window with it. Like, can't have nice things. This show, if anything, the show is going to traumatize you.
Great.
Well, then you add on the other dream of Suzy in the blue coat. It's like, okay, you have him on one end, and then you have her on the other end.
Right? So they're both going to die, and we're going to be done with the show's going to be over episode 9. We all know that's not the case. So I will say, as I said last week, and what you guys have assured me of, I do appreciate the speed in which we burn through cases.
Yeah.
That is something that I'm really happy with. Because if we would have sat on, as much as I love Kang Ki-young, if we would have sat on that case for like 4 or 6 episodes, I'd been like, let's go. We need to go. We need movement, people. Mm-hmm. So I am glad that we did move from Cat Killer to a Roomba case very quickly. So that was good. Mm-hmm. I do enjoy that. I'm trying, Michaela. I really am. Lee Jung Seok, I'm sure, is a delightful human in real life. He just doesn't do a lot for me as an actor.
This is a show that I like the villains a lot.
Yeah.
In all the cases. And then obviously our main villain too. Well, one of our main villains. Is he a main villain? I would say he's
I think so. He's a main character.
He's like a main character. So yeah, I guess he's a main villain. Yeah.
So my thing that I'm curious about, has he always been a main villain? Like, did he start the show as a villain, or did he grow into villainy as we went through the show? Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, he started it. He started as a villain. You'll see. They explain.
Is he connected to our evil soldier?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to guess no. Thank you. I love the fact that you guys responded that way. Either that or you guys are the greatest actors I've ever seen. And I love you both for it. You're better than Jung Seok. Listen, he's grown on me, right? This is 2017. He's young. He was young. He was cutting his teeth. It's probably one of his first romantic. Well, maybe not, because I remember I tried to sit through another one of his romantic ones.
He'd been acting for a while since.
This is the third in the trilogy of him being the male lead of the show. So okay, Jen. Well, we'll see. We'll see where this goes.
It was Jung Hae In's first lead, though. Before that, he was like really just supporting, like Goblin, for example.
When you watch it, and Caitlin already agrees with me on this, but he is just more star power or more magnetism on screen than Jung Seok, right? I
don't know. There are moments for me with Jung Seok where like his character, he gets really serious. And then he like his upper lip disappears, and he's like really intense.
Michaela's analyzed this. She's like, it quivers for like 0.2 seconds, and then it disappears, and then he gets a slight smile while his one left eyebrow twitches. It's perfect. It's magical.
I like Jung Seok when he's in the more serious roles, and as Jen said last episode, when he's a villain. So the fact that like I think I like Jung Hae in this role more because Jung Seok and Suzy for also like have a lot more comedic lines and comedic moments than Jung Hae In ever did in this drama. So I think that's another reason why I like Jung Hae In more, because like the comedy in this drama doesn't work for me. It didn't work in my first watch. It doesn't work in my second watch. I do not like the comedy.
One of the points why they work for each other is they're both gross.
Yes.
Like
yes.
that's the whole thing is like they both like
And that's
barely
a
wash
joke
their
that goes
hair.
through the entire drama too. Yeah.
Yeah, they are not the greatest comedic actors. She's gotten better because I did enjoy her in Startup. Isn't it the same writer Startup in this one?
Yes.
Yes.
Same writer.
Maybe the character just fit her better in Startup because I was all in. I was all in on Suzy in Startup, but I can understand why some people are not the hugest Suzy fans watching this one.
Yeah. I mean,
don't at me about how angry you are. I like her a lot. I really enjoyed her in Startup.
I do agree with you then, Jen, though. This character for me is not my favorite. I even mentioned that in the first episode. Although it was great to like see her do what she's good at in this, at her job. Like, and even before when she was still like unemployed, like how she puts together each little individual chicken bone from the order that she got to prove that the guy didn't give her a whole chicken. I was like, you have all this talent, like, and what are you doing?
Question, did we know in episodes 1 through 4 that she was a reporter? I felt like that was new information for me, or I just wasn't paying attention, and I apologize.
I don't think it was revealed in 1 through 4.
Okay. Thank you. Because I was very confused. She's like, I don't know if I should go back to work. And I'm like, did you have a job?
Like, if you look at the things in her room, you can kind of like maybe piece together that that's what she did. But it's never explicitly said like, oh, she was a reporter who had a crime beat or whatever.
Okay. So I did not miss it. I was like, wow, Jen, you're really not paying attention. Like that seems like a big piece of data. So I feel
now you know that's like one of the reasons why this trio works so well together. Like she's a crime reporter, he's a cop, he's a prosecutor. Like
I didn't think about that. That's so brilliant. Yes. See, I need them to just solve cases, and this would be like the greatest drama ever. I would so enjoy it if the three of them just solve cases and slowly Suzy and Jung Suk's character fall in love. And by episode 15, that's when we finally get some sort of like, oh, I like you. Like, I just don't understand why he likes her in episode 5. I don't understand.
Yeah.
That's the
romance moved way too fast.
Yeah, just like, what? I don't understand. Oh, I will say, comedically, they did a really nice job with the their kiss being thwarted by a seatbelt. I thought that was hilarious.
and it's Jung Hae In's car, too. That's the best thing. It's like he's cock-blocking through his car.
I didn't even think about that. That's amazing. Yeah. Yes. And I loved it. So I really enjoyed that beat. Can we talk briefly about how bad their investigations are? I mean, Caitlin, you're our crime beat person.
Yeah.
They are the worst, right?
Well, even like that whole, I mean, granted, he got yelled at for this, but like the fact you didn't do an autopsy.
What?
Like, I'm like, are you kidding me? You don't do an autopsy in an accident and then you cremate him and you can't do it now? I got very mad with the police investigation in this as well.
Literally, I took notes. I'm like, this case is enraging. I'm like, so the brother in the car with the dead bro denies the autopsy, even when things seem sketchy, then gets $1 bazillion in an insurance payout and is finally accused of killing the bro. But his lawyer then says, since there was no autopsy, you can't accuse my client of wrongdoing because there's no evidence. I'm like, this makes me very cranky.
Well, even the logic of, I remember in the first part I watched this, like, yes, it got him out. But like the fact that he admitted to murdering him before the car accident in court, I'm like, why couldn't you? Technically, you could arrest him right after that because he admitted to murder. And before it was a car accident, so it's not double jeopardy. But yet he walked free to go attack his sister. Yeah, I will totally give you that, Jen. Like the police investigations in this are not the best. And they continue to. I'll tell you that right now.
My favorite was like, well, why didn't you do an autopsy? You should have done an autopsy. And the one prosecutor was like, but the family was there and they were bereft.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's exactly the reason why you do an autopsy. Because if that's the case, all a family member has to do is to cry and you won't do one. And there's murder galore, ladies and gentlemen, murder galore. It's like Murder Inc. I'm like, oh my God, this is some of, like, it hurt my brain. I was just like, I can't. With
Well,
how bad
even
they
the
are.
fact with the Roomba too. It drove me nuts. And it was like, it took you how many episodes to figure out that this was a Roomba?
Well, and I think theoretically they never figured it out.
No,
they
they
just
didn't.
showed it to
No,
us
they
to
didn't.
show the Roomba because they never found the Roomba in the house because it
Right.
fell out of a window and some random soccer playing child picked it up and put it in a recycling bin. Do they not canvass the area to look for things as they are doing a very big murder investigation of an Olympic gold medalist? Like, I feel like this would be a high profile case.
If you've seen our episode on our podcast about good, evil, and the law in K-dramas, we go extensively about how crime and the law in K-dramas are just usually the stupidest people in the room.
Oh my God. It defies logic. It defies logic.
And Jung Hae In's character even has this whole bit when he's talking to his friend. He's like, "Oh, just trust the law. Everything's gonna work out great. This, the law will set you free, or the truth will set you free." Blah blah blah. I'm like, with these guys, really, these guys? I don't know.
It's rough. It's rough. Like, I was yelling at my screen a few times. I'm just like, this is. I can't tell if it's. I think what's frustrating is, like, I can't tell if it's an indictment against the Korean legal system for real, and that's what the writers are writing, or if it's just lazy and bad writing. Like, they just know enough about legal stuff, and they just need to get their plot from A to B that they're just like, it'll be a Roomba and it'll fall off the window. It'll be perfect. It's perfect.
I think it's lazy because they want the story to be more concentrated on the dreams and them three, and not necessarily the case. I think they're just putting in the cases to have something to happen in the episodes until they can actually talk about the big case overall that's going to happen in the last 8 episodes.
Is it the last 8 episodes? So
no. It's like, well, technically technically it started in episode 5. You just don't know what exactly started. But yeah.
Yeah, this isn't Taxi Driver. It's not that deep.
No, it's not. It's not that deep. It really isn't.
Taxi Driver didn't get that deep either. Taxi Driver like veered off hardcore season 2.
Well, I mean, with Taxi Driver though, the cases that they have are based off of actual like social issues and very specific things that actually happened in Korea, whereas this is just kind of like,
we need a case of the week.
Echoes of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I for real, like, one of my favorites is Secret Forest or Stranger. Like, that is some intricate writing of policing and prosecuting, and they do a really nice job with that. So I think it's just them getting this plot from A to B. I was like, maybe I'm missing something, but yeah.
The one thing I had to laugh about, because I completely forgot this happened, but when they're on the roof and they're running away from the brother, and Kim Won Hae comes in and like does a high kick.
Oh, right.
I'm like, I forgot. I was hysterically laughing. I'd forgotten that happened, and I honestly don't even think that was Kim Won Hae. Obviously, I think that was a stunt double.
Yeah. All right, you guys. So there you go, everyone. That is episode. This is our rewatch. This is us rehashing episodes 5 through 8 of While You Were Sleeping. I think you've got 3 different viewpoints on how you watched it. So I think we've covered them all. All right, guys. So until next time, we're going to cover the next 4, which I am told you both, Caitlin and Michaela, are telling me that the big case has already started bubbling. So I'm going to now start looking for clues for what the big case is. Maybe it'll be revealed and my theories will come true. I'm very excited. So until next time, I am Jenn from the KThree. I'd like to thank Michaela and Caitlin. Again, tell us real quick where we can find you.
I'm Michaela, the pseudonym from the K-pop cast. And you can find us at the K-pop cast on all socials and all the things. And if you want more Jung Hae In K-drama talk, we also have an episode on our podcast called Military Service in K-drama, where we talk about DP.
Oh, I love that one so much. That one kicked me in the gut and sat there for days. Caitlin?
Yeah, I'm Caitlin. I'm No Sleep 4, number 4 dramas. You can find me on IG, TikTok. Then my blog is named after that same name. A little bit on Twitter. I'm actually kind of veered off Twitter a little bit. Anyway, that is my name.
Excellent. I love it. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for guiding me through this journey that is called While You Were Sleeping. You guys are the best. And again, I'm Jenn from the KThree. If you haven't yet, go ahead and take a look at our newsletter. We give you a wrap up or a basic kind of quick roundup of casting and basic top news stories in the K-drama landscape twice a week. So until next time, you guys, we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye everybody.